forecast for October 2023. So on October 23rd, we had the sun moving out of Libran energy and moving into Scorpio energy. So Libra season in its entirety, of course, kicked off with that equinox energy. It moved us into a new karmic chapter. Libra season was all about really living in the extremes in order for us to find a brand new balance point, brand new grounding point. The Libran energy, although definitely an attempt to balance the scales within our heart and our head, between our inner realm and our outer realm, between our ego self and our higher self, between us and the people, the world around us, we definitely seen a lot of back and forth, a lot of up and down, a lot of that, I'm going to say, scale be out of whack for the majority of Libra season. Not to mention, of course, we moved into eclipse season with this Libra energy as well. And so now that the sun is shifting into Scorpio energy, a fixed water sign, this is where true transformation actually takes place. I want to just take a moment and kind of rewind you to about August, when we had Venus in her retrograde conjunct with the sun, bringing forth a new cycle, a new version of ourselves, new wants, new needs, new desires. Of course, it's been a hard time going since that particular point in the calendar. We haven't really had a lot of opportunity to take action, to make moves, to start kind of bringing to life some of the things that we realize within ourselves during those times that we have to change and transform in our physical realms in order to create more happiness, more peace, more joy, more safety, more security. Well, we moved through Virgo season. Virgo season was about us kind of focusing in on the problems in order for us to come up with a solution on how we're going to fix, heal, and repair these particular details of our lives. But of course, we weren't able to take action because Mercury, who rules over that Virgo energy, was retrograde for his entire rulership. And so we were mostly looking back on how it is that we've gotten here, the choices that we made, where it is that in circumstances we were kind of living out the prayers, the dreams that we had once kind of prayed and asked for. But now, because so much has changed, because we are aligning more with our real, raw, authentic selves, there just seems to be a lot of discomfort in our physical realms. So moving into Libra season, we finally got an opportunity to see where our lives were out of whack. And of course, we had a lot of percolating to do on relationship dynamics, most specifically, especially with that equinox energy pushing us into new soul contracts. We definitely need to kind of step back and see whether or not the people that we have in our lives, whether or not they are going to stay, whether or not we have to kind of rearrange the energy dynamics if we want to keep them around, because we started to see where it is that we were giving too much energy, too much power away to other people in our lives and not reserving enough for ourselves. Of course, we've been going through this whole, caterpillar moving into a cocoon, emerging as a butterfly situation. Well, the Scorpio season in its entirety is where we bust out of that cocoon, where it is that we emerge as the butterfly, and it is going to take a little bit of time before we test our wings out for the very first time. However, the change, the transformation, the true metamorphosis that needs to take place in our inner realm, in our heart space, in our head space, in our soul, in our spirit, takes place through Scorpio season. Now, Scorpio season is not favorable to too many people, mostly because it requires a lot of depth, a lot of work in the shadow realm. We have to examine the darkest parts of ourselves in order to illuminate them to a new perspective, a new truth, a new mission, a new purpose. That's how change and transformation takes place. We have all these people sitting around praying for change, but yet when it comes to doing the hard work in order for the change to take place, many people drop off the face of the earth. And that's why Scorpio season is very intense, very much going to see the changes and the transformations that we've been wanting to see. But most of all, it is triggering, activating a lot of pain, a lot of trauma in our soul selves. That's how we grow. That's how we change. That's how we transform. The fixed water energy is a stabilizing energy. We're very resistant to change in a fixed season. However, the change that needs to take place is taking place on a spiritual level, something we don't really have a whole lot of control over. And speaking of control, we are kicking Scorpio season off in the exact halfway point of this eclipse energy, this eclipse corridor. We are at the mercy of the cosmos, of the universe right now. Karma is sorting us out and putting us on the path that we need to be on, not the path that we desire to be on, but the path that we need to be on to reach our soul's mission, our true evolvement within our soul self. So one of the things that is going to be a major focus in Scorpio season is, what do you want? What do you desire? Okay, so we just came out of Libra season where, typically speaking, our wants, our needs, our desires were kind of sidetracked, backburnered, if you will, because the natural disposition of the Libran energy is to put other people's wants, needs, and desires before our own. Of course, the eclipse energy on this Aries and Libran axis is pushing us to see where it is that we have to kind of let go of being so concerned of trying to make other people happy at our own expense in order to balance the scales appropriately so that we can still honor our individual selves and do what is right for us while still honoring the commitments that we've made to other people. Well, through Libra season, we've been on the fence with what it is that we actually want. We've been so confused we don't even know where to begin to figure out what it is that we actually want. Well, Scorpio season is going to illuminate for you what it is that you 100% want, need, deserve, and desire. And spoiler alert, most of the time we come to these realizations by recognizing what it is that we don't want, what it is that we're tired of, what it is that we don't deserve, what it is that we just can't tolerate any freaking longer. But again, in true human nature, we have to have our backs against a wall. We have to be absolutely at the point of just wanting to end it all before we turn our head and take a brand new look at brand new possibilities, brand new perspectives. That's when we awaken, and that's when this new version of self really defines what it is that we want to create for ourselves from here. So it is no joke. This is the season of depth, the season of intensity, the season of extremes, if you will, because we have to, again, remind ourselves that yes, the Libra energy was about finding a new balance point through living in the extremes, but we stayed in the shallow end of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our experiences in that Libran energy. We do a deep dive in the deepest part of our soul, of our psyche, of our pain, of our trauma, of our experiences in the Scorpio energy. The superficiality that we were comfortable with in Libra season is no more. Unless you're being real and raw and vulnerable, we are not having anything to do with it here in Scorpio season. We want to get to the bottom of the truth. We want to get to the bottom of what actually matters. And we have to start that process through doing a deep dive in our own heart space, in our own head space, in our own conditioning within ourselves first, before we can observe it out into the world. We don't want halfway. We want all or nothing in Scorpio energy. And as beautiful as that can sometimes be, it's also a very dangerous point to be operating from. We in this Scorpio energy, we want to move into the realm of mysticism, all that is hidden, the truth, the details. We want to explore those taboo topics and themes. We want to unearth the secrets that have been kept away from us, either by the suppression of those secrets within our own psyche or the secrets that have been kind of hidden away from external energies, external powers other than ourselves. We want to do a deep dive in the areas of life that most people shy away from, where we were trying to kind of, strive towards peace and harmony and love and happiness and equality and fairness. In Libra season, we are done with that. We are willing to not only have those scales in an extreme type of position where we're ready to flip tables and throw those scales out altogether. We need to rely on our instincts. We're not taking things from surface level. The Libran energy, being an air energy, had us all up in our head, staying in the shallow realms of our thoughts, trying to make everything fair, trying to make everything happy-go-lucky and bubbly. Scorpio energy, we don't do that. We know life isn't fair. We know that there's an extreme part of ourselves and other people and this world that many people are afraid to dive into. This is where we become a little bit more, I'm going to say introverted, because we're very private in Scorpio energy. I'm not saying that we're trying to create and hold secrets away from other people. It just naturally happens to happen like that. We're very quiet. We're very introverted because we're in observer mode. But the passion, the desire, the intensity, our willpower, our wants, our needs, our desires coming on so freaking hot and heavy that it can feel very overwhelming at times. This is where a huge amount of healing takes place. This is how transformations take place. I want to give you this analogy here. Consider the fact that we were the caterpillar back in August. We moved into our cocoon. We dissolved ourselves into a pile of goo. We built the skeletal structure of this butterfly. We've been the butterfly. We're all cramped up in this cocoon. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to muster up the courage, the boldness, the bravery, the energy, the power to break out of this damn cocoon. So there is this passion, there is this intensity, there is this willpower that is coming out of nowhere. It is a very intense time to bust out of this cocoon before we die. And so this is where the transformative energy of Scorpio season comes alive and well. This is the healing energy. This is the metamorphosis that takes place on a soul and spiritual level to position us with a new mission, a new purpose, a new path that we now want to follow. So let's talk about the shadow realm of our experiences. This is where suspicion reigns supreme. This is where jealousy comes out to play, where we're a little bit petty, a little bit more manipulative to get what it is that we want. There's a little bit of vindictiveness that we could definitely see shine through. And we're recognizing where it is that we've been beating a dead horse and where it is that it's time for us to walk away. So if we are tapping into the more, let's say, unevolved qualities of the Scorpio energy, you best believe that this is dark and destructive. It needs to be in order for a change, a transformation, a metamorphosis to actually take place. But we're also highly intelligent and super intuitive in Scorpio season. New psychic abilities come online. Again, may I remind you that the Libran energy is the doorway from the ego realm into the spiritual realm. The Scorpio energy is where we jump through that doorway and kind of go in all parts of us, all divided fragment parts of us jump through this doorway. We dive into the spiritual waters that, of course, the fixed water sign of Scorpio is. And in the journey of us holding our breath and being pressurized under this deep emotional transformation, we unify and merge those fragmented pieces back together. And when we come up for a breath of air, we are in a new state of wholeness. There's a high intellect, high intuition. We have the, I'm going to say, ability to pick up on subtle energies that we weren't able to pick up on before. We are able to kind of read between the lines of the surface level information that we are getting and knowing that there's something behind it, something hidden, something deeper. This is a time when we are really taking a look at how it is that we can kind of, I'm going to say, make something new out of the old. Make something better out of the bad. And this can be a very, very successful time for us if we're able to navigate the depths of our own darkness in a way that actually triggers a spontaneous healing, an immediate change, immediate transformation in our understanding of self. And so this is a great time to kind of get organized, get the pieces together, to do the research, to do a deep dive, to investigate, to analyze the inner workings of how it is that we're operating, and therefore looking outside of us, understanding the parts of us that are alive and well in other people, and having a new perception and understanding on how other people work by doing the depths within ourselves. So this can be a very challenging time, a very challenging season for many, but just know that it is 100% worth the time, the energy, the effort that we need to put into ourselves, put into our lives at this time, because this is creating the foundation that this newest version of self is going to be launching off of.